To finish up our topic of elasticity, I wanted to explain three very special cases concerning elasticity. The first one is called unitary elasticity or unit elasticity, where a percentage change in price is equal to a percentage change in quantity demanded, and that is equal to 1. Where if we were to do the midpoint formula, the change in quantity demanded divided by the sum of the quantities divided by 2, that divided by the change in price divided by the sum of the prices divided by 2. If that particular number came out to be 1, instead of being elastic greater than 1 or inelastic less than 1, if it was equal to 1, we call that unit elasticity. It's a very special case, and I'm not going to go any further into it. Just realize that it is a special case of elasticity where I'm not losing anything, but I'm also not gaining anything. So just be aware that it's there. The second special case of elasticity is what we call perfectly elastic demand. A perfectly elastic demand curve, if you want to think of a curve, would be a straight line. In this case, it would be a straight line. My demand curve would be a straight line, and it would be a straight line that is parallel to my quantity or to my x-axis. And basically what this says is this is the amount that I will pay for the good. I will pay $4 for each unit of good that I buy. If I buy 1 unit, I will spend $4. If I want to buy a second unit, I will spend exactly $4. This is a very special case. In this situation, I am perfectly elastic. If you move that price to $5 a unit, I won't buy any of it. If you lower that price to $3 a unit, well, in this case, you can't provide me all that I demand at that price of $3 without raising it. To give you an example of this, you're going down to the beach, and I guess 20 miles from Rehoboth or Lewes or what have you, you see corn, $4 a dozen. The next Kia corn road stand, you see corn, $4 a dozen. By the time you see that, you think, well, gee, I'd like to have some corn, so I'll stop at the next corn road stand. But that corn's $5. And what you don't see in the parking lot is any cars, because all the cars are out buying the $4 corn. On the other hand, you're driving down and thinking, well, gee, I'll stop at the next corn road stand and buy corn. And that road stand is $3 a dozen. And all of a sudden you see all these cars. Well, as you approach the vendor, the supplier of the corn, the guy's going to turn around and say, I'm out of corn. And therefore, if you just want to wait here, let me go get some more corn and I'll be right back. So they drive a mile down the road. They pick up the corn, but that corn is $4. So they come back and they tell you, you can have the corn, but unfortunately, I have to charge you $4. So in this special case, this is the amount of the good that I will pay. And I won't pay 1 cent more. You cannot raise the price by withholding supply because I can always get corn at $4 a dozen. You don't have to lower the price in order to get me to buy more corn because you can't supply me all the corn that I demand at a price of $3 without raising it. The third special case that we have is one that is called a perfectly inelastic demand curve. In this situation, my demand curve is parallel to my price axis or to my y-axis. In this case, I don't care what the price is. Just give it to me, give me the good, and I'll pay it. An example of this would be first of all, let's assume in our world we have no medical insurance. Let us assume I am diabetic. And in order to control my diabetes, I have to take insulin. Let us assume that insulin is $100 for a 30-day supply. Let's also assume for a moment that this comes in a bottle as opposed to vials. So I go up and I pay for my insulin. Now, without insulin, I could go into diabetic shock, I could go into a coma. Ultimately, I could die. That's the bottom line, is that it could kill me. As I'm paying my $100 for my 30-day supply, the phone rings at the pharmacy. Pharmacist answers the phone and he's informed that all insulin, effective immediately, all insulin is now $200 for a 30-day $200 for a 30-day bottle supply. As I'm taking the bottle off the shelf, I drop the bottle breaks. The pharmacist comes down and says, I can get you another bottle, except now the insulin is $200. Ordinarily, that might stop you from purchasing that particular good, in this case, insulin. However, because it's either take the insulin or die, I don't really care what the price is. Give it to me and I'll pay it. So if we want to take a look at this, this is my demand for insulin. Oh, I'm sorry. This is my supply of insulin, $100 for one 30-day bottle. But now, because the price has increased, I now pay $200 and I get no additional insulin. But it's immaterial. I don't care about the price. Give me the price of the good and I'll pay for it. If we think of the market for illegal drugs, perhaps cocaine, the first bag of cocaine or the first vial of cocaine, I'm not exactly sure how it's sold, but anyway, the first rock of cocaine, crack cocaine, let's take crack cocaine. The first rock of that cocaine, from what I understand, is immediately addictive as opposed to other drugs such as heroin, where you have to build up an addiction. You are addicted immediately. And again, I'm not sure that that's true. I'm only telling you that's from what I've read. So the first vial, I guess, or rock of crack cocaine that you would get, the person would give it to you at $0. The price of that would be $0. This is the price. You would get this amount this amount for one bag. How about if we say that? One bag of crack cocaine. I'll just put CC. So then you come back, being addicted immediately, you come back 4 or 5 hours, or however the effect lasts. You come back and now you tell the person that sold that to you, I'd like to have some more. And they tell you, well, that's fine, but now it costs you $100 to buy that. Do you pay it? Well, hopefully you wouldn't, but more so than not, people would. People would, because the alternative of not having this would be going cold turkey, the clinics and everything else. So therefore, in a perfectly elastic demand, you don't really care what the price is. Just give me the good. Just give me the good and I'll pay it. Perfectly elastic demand curve is, this is the price that I will pay for the good, and that's the only price I'm going to pay. You can't raise your price by withholding supply, and you don't have to lower your price to get me to buy more. So these three are the very special cases of elasticity that I wanted to draw your attention to. Again, if you have any questions, email me personally and place that question on discussion board. Likewise, I will answer that question to you personally via email and then post that answer on discussion board as well. I also encourage all students to go to discussion board and give your input and your thoughts on the answer or the concept that the question concerns. Thank you very much and have a great day.